Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am looking out the window right now, and it is just another classic, completely gray day here in Columbus.
It really is. The Ohio winter just settles into your bones. You do not see the sun for weeks.
Exactly. And it actually fits perfectly with what we are talking about today. Because when the weather stays dark like this, I usually tell people I get so tired in the winter.
Notice that. You did not say, I become tired. You said, I get tired.
Right. And that is exactly what we are discussing today. The word get. It is a tiny word, but for anyone learning English, it is an absolute nightmare.
It is. Because when you sit in a classroom, the teacher tells you that get means to receive something, like I get a present. But then you move to the US. Maybe you move here to the Midwest, and you realize nobody talks like the textbook.
That is the painful part. I have spoken to so many immigrants who work incredibly hard. They take jobs at the distribution centers here in Ohio. They study English at night, and then they go to work and feel completely lost.
Because their manager says, "Can you get this done? I do not get why this is broken. We need to get going." And the learner just freezes.
It is a terrible feeling. It is not just about missing a word. It is that deep, isolating feeling of, I am smart in my native language, but here, I sound like I do not know anything.
I understand that completely. When language fails you, you feel invisible. But today, we're going to fix that. We're going to break down how Americans actually use this word every single day.
Let us start with something practical. Economic realities. I was at the grocery store on High Street yesterday, just buying basic food.
And let me guess, everything is getting more expensive.
Exactly. Getting more expensive. I looked at my receipt and my heart sank. People are really stressed about credit card debt right now. It keeps people awake at night. When we say things are getting expensive, what are we really saying?
We are talking about a change. Get plus an adjective describes a transition. The food was normal price, and now it is expensive. The situation changed.
Right. We do not say the weather becomes cold in normal conversation. We say it gets cold. We do not say I become old. We say I am getting older.
And there is a lot of emotion in that phrase, getting older. It is a universal insecurity. You wake up, your back hurts, and you realize you cannot do the things you used to do.
Yes. You look in the mirror and think, when did I get so tired? The word get captures that passing of time. It is a very human word.
I actually read a fascinating study about this from a linguistics journal. Do you want to know why native speakers use get for almost everything?
Please. I always wonder why we naturally avoid more specific verbs.
Linguists call it a delexicalized verb. That sounds complicated, but it just means the word get has almost no solid meaning by itself. It works like an empty box.
An empty box? How does that work?
It takes its entire meaning from the words you put next to it. Scientifically, our brains are lazy. It takes less cognitive energy for the brain to use a flexible, empty word like get and attach an adjective to it rather than searching for a specific verb.
Wait, really? So when I say, I need to get ready, my brain is basically taking a shortcut?
Exactly. Instead of saying, I need to prepare myself, which requires more formal processing, the brain just grabs the empty box, get, and throws ready inside it. It is an evolutionary trick for faster communication.
That makes so much sense. And it explains why English learners struggle. They are trying to translate the specific words from their language, but Americans are just using these fast cognitive shortcuts.
Yes, and let us look at another major way we use it: buying or obtaining things. Think about your morning routine.
Well, I wake up, I take a shower, and then I go get coffee. I never say I go to purchase coffee. That sounds like I am writing a legal document.
Exactly. I need to get some milk. Did you get the tickets? It implies bringing something into your possession. And again, it is casual. It brings the conversation down to a friendly level.
It is funny because it creates a barrier for people who try to speak perfect English. If you speak too formally, people here in the US might actually feel distant from you.
That is the painful truth. You can have perfect grammar, but if you do not use words like get, you sound like a robot. And in a workplace, being liked and sounding approachable is often just as important as being competent.
I want to talk about the emotional side of get, because this is where the deepest human connection happens. Think about the phrase, I get it.
Oh, that is powerful. I get it is very different from I understand.
Exactly. If a friend tells you they are going through a painful divorce and you say, I understand, it sounds a bit cold. It sounds professional.
But if you look them in the eye and say, man, I get it, you are telling them that you feel their pain. You are absorbing their emotion.
And on the flip side, the phrase, I do not get it, carries so much vulnerability. When you are sitting in a meeting and everyone is nodding, but you say, I do not get it, you are risking looking foolish.
That is a huge fear for immigrants in the US. They sit in meetings. The boss uses 3 different phrasal verbs. Everyone laughs at a joke, and the learner thinks, I do not get it, but I cannot admit that because I might lose my job.
Yes. The fear of exposing your lack of knowledge. But actually, saying, I do not get it, is the only way to grow. Native speakers say it all the time. We ask for clarity.
And here's another interesting historical fact about get. It actually comes from Old Norse, the language of the Vikings.
Wait, the Vikings? How did that become the most common word in American English?
When the Vikings settled in England hundreds of years ago, they lived next to the Anglo-Saxons. They spoke different languages. So, to trade and survive together, they had to simplify their communication. They relied on simple, flexible words like get instead of complex native grammar.
That is incredible. So get is literally a survival word. It was designed for people trying to understand each other across a cultural divide.
Exactly. So when an English learner feels bad about using get too much, they should remember, this word was literally made for immigrants bridging a language gap.
That gives it so much dignity. Let us talk about movement and location. This is another area where learners get stuck.
Yes, arriving. People study the word arrive, but in daily life we say, what time did you get home?
If someone calls me and says, I will arrive at the restaurant at 7, I immediately feel like they are reading from a script. But if they say, I will get there at 7, it feels normal.
And again, this ties back to the brain saving energy. Get focuses on the final result, the destination. I got to work. We got to Ohio.
It is also about crossing boundaries. Getting in the car, getting out of the car, getting on the bus. It describes the physical transition.
Right. And we know phrasal verbs frustrate learners. Get over a cold. Get along with someone. It feels like you have to memorize a dictionary.
What advice do you give to people when they face these phrasal verbs? Because you cannot just tell them to study harder. that leads to burnout.
I tell them to stop translating. Stop trying to find the exact match in your language. Instead, visualize the action. If you say, get over a problem, imagine stepping over a wall. The problem is behind you now.
I love that. Visualizing the language instead of doing math with the grammar. It takes away the pressure.
Exactly. Language learning is not math. There is no perfect formula. It is about human connection. The goal is to survive the conversation and connect with the other person.
To wrap this up, if someone is listening right now while driving to work or maybe doing the dishes, what is the one thing they should remember about the word get?
Remember that get is your friend. It is not a trick designed to confuse you. It is a tool designed to make speaking easier. Use it to show your feelings, your movement, and your changes.
Beautifully said. You do not need perfect words. You just need to get your point across.
I see what you did there.
I had to do it. Thank you so much for being here today, John. And to all our listeners, keep practicing. Be kind to yourselves. And remember that every mistake is just a step forward.
Thanks for having me. Keep getting better, everyone.